wow! The Denver Broncos are no longer just a dark horse team. They are now becoming the top choice to land a star wide receiver, one of the biggest names in NFL free agency. Instead of wondering if we'll get an aging receiver like Deebo Samuel or Cooper Kupp, what if we land the best wide receiver available? Well, that might actually happen. But why would a top receiver even consider the Broncos? The answer is simple. This team has serious hype. Kay Adams has even compared them to the Eagles, and advanced stats show that the Broncos are just a few key players away from being real Super Bowl contenders. Before we dive into the latest updates, make sure to subscribe to the channel, like the video, and hit the bell icon so you never miss breaking NFL news. Now, back to the Broncos. Kay Adams has been ahead of the curve when it comes to this team. She was one of the few major reporters to attend the Broncos training camp, and she saw the potential early on. She talked about how great Pat Surtain and Courtland Sutton are, and even predicted that Sean Payton would win more than 7 games. In her latest show, she made another bold statement. Of all the NFL teams, the Broncos have the best chance to build a dominant offensive line and become a true playoff powerhouse. And this isn't just fan hype. This is coming from a top NFL analyst. Stay tuned because things are getting exciting in Denver. The Denver Broncos are building something special, just like the Philadelphia Eagles did before their big Super Bowl win. Back then, their success ended with a massive parade in downtown Philly. So, could we see something like that in Denver soon? That's the goal, and we're all hoping for it. One big reason this might happen is our strong offensive line. According to rankings from PFF and the 33rd team, 2 of our tackles are among the best in the league when it comes to allowing the fewest pressures on the quarterback. That's impressive because most teams would be lucky to have just one top-level tackle. On the left side, Garrett Bowles is doing a great job protecting the quarterback's blind side. On the right, Mike McGlinchey has stepped up in a big way and is playing as strong as we all hoped he would. These 2 rank in the top 10 out of 64 tackles in the league. That's a big deal. And that's not all. We also have Quinn Miners, one of the best offensive guards in football. With 3 standout linemen, the Broncos have built a dominant offensive line, just like the Eagles did. And that's exactly how championship teams are made. So, what else do the Broncos have that could help them succeed like the Philadelphia Eagles? One big advantage is Vance Joseph, one of the highest-rated defensive coordinators in the league. It's surprising that he didn't get a single offer for a head coaching job, even though he clearly deserved interviews. Honestly, it's hard to imagine the Broncos keeping him for another year. But for now, we're lucky to have him, and it's exciting to see him continue building his system in Denver. His rankings speak for themselves. He's rated above many current head coaches who were once top defensive coordinators. The only person ahead of him is Vic Fangio, who just helped his team win a Super Bowl by stopping Patrick Mahomes. So, when you look at this team, the pieces are coming together. The Broncos have a strong offensive line, one of the best defensive play callers, and plenty of draft picks to work with. They even got an extra pick by trading Baron Browning, and more could come when players like Stidham or Zach Wilson move on. The future is looking incredibly bright for Denver. Now, let's get into what I teased at the start of this video. There's been a lot of talk about where Tee Higgins might play next season, and many believe the Denver Broncos are in a great position to get him. That possibility is really exciting because Higgins is the kind of receiver who could make a huge impact on this offense. I keep thinking back to the end of that overtime game against the Cincinnati Bengals. There was a moment when Broncos quarterback Bo Nix was covering his mouth while talking to Higgins. Those 2 don't have any real connection, so what could they have been discussing? Maybe Nix was hinting at the future, imagining himself throwing passes to Higgins next season. The thought of Higgins joining the Broncos is thrilling. He's not just a strong receiver, he's great at making plays after the catch, something Denver hasn't had in a long time. Unlike some other receivers who mainly focus on possession catches, Higgins can break tackles and turn short plays into big gains. Of course, a lot will depend on what it takes to get him. But if the Broncos manage to bring him in, it could be a game-changing move for the team. Just imagine how exciting it would be to see Bo Nix paired with Tee Higgins. That would give the Broncos an incredible group of receivers. If Higgins joins, It would also help young receivers like Marvin Mims and Troy Franklin grow, especially with veterans like Courtland Sutton leading the way. And the best part? The Broncos wouldn't even have to trade for Higgins. If they make the right offer, they could bring him in without giving up draft picks. The team has the financial resources to make a competitive deal, which could be a huge advantage. Another exciting thing to think about is the Kansas City Chiefs. For years, they've been the biggest obstacle keeping the Broncos out of the playoffs. But things have started to change since Sean Payton arrived. A big part of the Chiefs' budget is tied up in just a few players, including Travis Kelce. Watching Kelce in crucial moments last season, it seemed like he had lost some of that fire. When his team needed him the most, he didn't have the same impact as before. That's something the Broncos can take advantage of as they continue building a team that can compete at the highest level. If you need proof that the Kansas City Chiefs might be slowing down, just look at this play. Patrick Mahomes is scrambling, trying to make something happen, but check out Travis Kelce at the bottom of the screen. He's just standing there, barely moving, like someone waiting for a delayed flight at the airport. When a team is spending a huge chunk of its budget on a player who isn't giving his all, that's not a good sign for them, but it's great news for the Broncos. Looking ahead, the future is incredibly exciting for Denver. The possibility of adding Tee Higgins is enough to get any Broncos fan fired up, but there's also been talk about the team making a move for another star receiver, like Cooper Kupp or Deebo Samuel. So, which one would be the best fit? Higgins might be the most exciting option, but he would also be the most expensive. If the Broncos go after Kupp, there's a chance the Rams would cover part of his salary, making it a smart move financially. Having a veteran like Coop could also help the younger receivers grow, kind of like when Wes Welker was in Denver and helped players like Emmanuel Sanders develop into stars. No matter what happens, there's a lot to believe in for Broncos fans right now. The team is building something special, and big moves could be coming soon.